When we're reasoning, we use truth and logic. Let us focus our attention on understanding logic. Logic may be broadly defined as an area of study where you're studying the nature. I say the essential nature of reasoning and argumentation, but you're studying, another way to put it is that you're studying correct reasoning and argumentation. You're studying what makes for a good argument, a bad argument. That's basically what you're doing with logic as a discipline, as an area of study. And you can get a PhD in logic, in philosophy. That's just part of the discipline itself, right? When you're looking at logic as in terms of what it is you're doing when you're logical, that's something else. When someone is being logical, they're not just studying, they're just being logical. And what do you mean by that? It's a type of inference, an implication. How can I get to you? Let's see. Let's look at this. In front of you, you see two numbers, okay? And you see an operator. I'm assuming you have basic mathematical reasoning skills. Right now, do you see the answer? You're not seeing with your eyes, you're seeing it with your mind. If you could see the answer to these two numbers, you now are being logical. Since you have basic mathematical reasoning skills, seeing with your intelligence right now is what you're doing. You are now being logical because you have basic mathematical reasoning skills. That is the best way to understand that, what you're doing right now. Look at this one as well. Another number with a different operator. Do you see the answer there? I'm not going to say it out loud because if I say the answer out loud, then you would have heard it as a matter of fact. Then you stop seeing it with your intelligence. But if you're seeing right now, you understand what that answer is right now. You're seeing with your mind. You can see with your eyes and you can see with your intelligence. When you're seeing with your intelligence, you're being logical. Mathematical reasoning is easier to illustrate logic. When we turn to where we normally apply it, especially in philosophy, we're looking at words. It becomes more complicated, but it's the same sort of thing. If the statement is asserted in front of you, the statement right here is asserted in front of you as being true, because that's what the arrow means, okay? We assert that to be true, right? If we assert these words as true, what does it imply? Can you name me some things? See, you cannot repeat the word. What is it? I mean, you could, there are some things that can be named. I just name one, and you tell me some others. If it is true right now that that statement is true, then there must be clouds. There must be clouds in the sky. It doesn't say it there, but I can reason because I know what that means, okay? Then that is true. If it is true, there must be clouds in the sky. There has to be clouds in the sky. If there's no clouds in the sky, the statement is false. There's got to be clouds. Thin cloud, thick cloud, dark cloud, light cloud, but there's got to be clouds, you see? See, that's being logical. That's seeing with your intelligence. But when you look at the language, that little statement in front right now has many, many meanings, many, many meanings. And it's just the complication that's involved, okay? So when you're being logical, you're using your mind to see the implication of a truth. You begin with a truth, and then you see what it leads to. All reasoning has three fundamental principles that we gain an understanding from the ancient philosophers. From the ancient philosophers, they began discussing and articulating these concepts, which are still with us today. First of all, if you're going to engage in reasoning, there's the principle of exclude the middle. Basically, this is saying if you're going to reason, you may stop this recording at any time to read those words and write them down. Well, what is it saying is that your statement must have a truth value. It is true or it's false. If you do not know, that is not a truth value. All right. So, like, let's take something controversial. Well, not so controversial. Let's take something controversial and fun. The belief that Bigfoot exists. Do you believe that Bigfoot exists? Some say yes, some say no. When someone say yes, that Bigfoot exists, you know, we all know about that conspiracy. We immediately turn to that and say, prove it, you know? And the person know they have no proof. They just want to believe it for some reason, some emotional feeling. There's got to be a big, tall bear walking out there, like a human being. So, but when you say false, no one seemed to come up and say, prove that. See, in philosophy, false is an answer. If you know that there is no Bigfoot, then you need to be able to prove it. If you do not know, then you don't know there is no Bigfoot. One side may not be able to prove that it is, but your side can't prove that it is not. Both of these are truth values and can be used as statements in an argument. So if you don't know, you don't know. Excluded middle is that. You know it or you don't. So do we know Bigfoot exists? No. So therefore it's an open question. So anyone making a claim on either side, we can challenge them. This is the principle of excluded middle. If you get that principle, the next thing is that to understand the meaning of the statements in front of you. If you understand the meaning of the words and you put a truth value on it, you must accept that truth value everywhere. It's kind of difficult to illustrate this one. Say for example, and I like saying this one, but suppose you say all men, no. So I said something outlandish. I said all men are millionaires. All men are millionaires, all right? Now, so if by the excluded middle, I accept the statement to be true. Remember your reasoning, it's information not true or false, okay? We take this bits of information that all men are millionaires, all right? And then here I am, I'm teaching philosophy. What do you think of me? I'm a millionaire. You're a man, you're a millionaire. Your brother's a man, and your brother's a millionaire. You say all men are millionaires. That means, and historically, every man in the past was a millionaire. And you say, since you said all men in the future is going to be a millionaire, all right? This is a very tricky one in philosophy. When you assert the truth of a statement, you need to know what those words mean down to the detail. As the meaning changes, the sense of the truth value changes. Because remember, you're going to take a true statement to lead to another true statement. So if you don't understand the statement, you don't know the force of the truth value or how its genuine implication. Principle of identity, very important. Principle of non-contradiction. I would say single-handedly the most important of the three principles. In fact, if you try to imply the principle of non-contradiction, you require the other two principles to make it work, okay? The idea here is that a statement and an opposite cannot be true at the exact same time, exact same way. I cannot, for example, say there is a Lamborghini in the driveway and there is no Lamborghini in the driveway at the exact same time, exact same way. It doesn't work like that because there's a contradiction. What the ancient discovered is that reality does not include a contradiction. For example, I am before you, digitally at least, and I exist in the digital form. But suppose someone were to say that I don't exist. Well, I cannot both exist and not exist in the exact same world, okay? Even in the digital form. I can't be talking to you and not talking to you at the exact same time. So because I cannot be doing that physically, the ancients somehow reason that in the mind, you can think that. In the mind, you could think something exists and not exists at the exact same time. All right? So they put on these rules, call it the logos, okay? That when we're thinking about the world, to make our thoughts effective, to make our reasoning effective, we would say today, we're gonna avoid the contradiction. If two ideas seem to go in opposite direction at the exact same time, the exact same way, we're gonna hold judgment. Withhold judgment, go back and study identity or look for a principle exclude the middle, go do research because it cannot be the case. Reality does not include a contradiction, neither should our thinking. These are the three fundamental principles of our reasoning, and they are the foundation, I would say, of the modern world as right now. So to conclude this analysis here, philosophical reasoning, okay, in philosophy, we are expert. We dismantle and identify and recognize truth. We also are the teachers of logic. So we study various rules of logic and how they work and things of that nature. And all of that means that when we're reasoning, we can go very, 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 very deep. And again, you too can philosophize. Everyone has a birthright to doing philosophy. Whether you're taking a college course, whether you just want to do some philosophy so that you can think outside the box to make lots of money in your business.